Okay, awesome. All right, guys, so here we go. So this is a training just to set you up. This is a training that is going to require some interaction on your part, meaning you're going to want to have something to write with, something to take notes on if you're really wanting to get what there is to be had in this very short 30-minute window. We're going to be talking about habits. We're going to be talking about something that keeps showing up for you that you'd really like to have a breakthrough on. You'd really like your future around this thing to just change forever. And I want to set you up that you actually get that today. Like, this isn't just another training that you leave and like life doesn't change and improve for you over the next week going forward. The intention of these trainings is to have life-altering shifts, life-altering changes going into your future. And the only way that's going to happen is if you decide here, now, in this moment, to play big. Like in a way maybe you've never done before, with an intensity that maybe you've never tried on before. So I want you to try on this new coat called Being Here and Being Intense in My Attendance. Like something here your life is depending on. Like, try it on like that today. And if you don't like it, next week, you don't have to wear that coat. But let's just see what shows up for you when you really try on this training in a way that's intense for you and has your attention at a very high level. So just check your posture, check how you're sitting in your chair, check what's around you, what distractions may be occurring for you, because all of those things are going to play into how this lands for you going forward. So before we get into how to change a habit or how to have something in your life shift that's going to be radical, we want to start to look at like, how do we identify that thing? Like, what is the thing that needs shifting? What's the thing that would really make a difference? So what's that thing maybe each year you commit to but you never actually keep doing? Like, what's the thing that you know to change but you keep saying you're going to, but it just doesn't happen? Or you know the thing, it's like around your relationship that keeps showing up, or maybe it doesn't show up at all. It's like something you'd like to shift, or it's this incessant conversation or dance you do with someone, a friend, a family member. Or is there something missing in your health, your wealth, or your relationships or spirituality? Like, look in those areas of your life and just get really clear, like, okay, what's next for me? And I know that we do this often. I know that this is a topic that I bring up all the time. And it just is, you're never done. I mean, really, guys, you're never done. You're like, oh man, I've done something like this before and I had a major breakthrough in a relationship or a major breakthrough in my wealth. And it's like, great, now what's next? Like, let's keep going. Let's keep rolling with this thing. I want you to see it conceptually. So can you see it conceptually? Even speak about it as lived. It does, like, it's like as lived. In reality, this thing around my relationship, it doesn't work. Or this thing around money, it doesn't work. Or my spirituality or my health. Like, conceptually, I understand it. Like, you and I could have a conversation. You could even tell me like all the tips and tricks on like how to have a great diet and like how to have the health that you need. Like, you know even how to talk about it. But as lived, you're not doing it. You could tell me all the principles about how to make money, but as lived, you're not doing it, or your relationships or your spirituality. It's just like, for some reason, the rubber's not meeting the road. You know how to do it, but it's just not there. It's not showing up. So let's talk about the topic first of your health. So with your health, are you finding that like maybe you're your ideal self in your health? Meaning like, it's like you're your ideal body image, ideal weight, ideal strength, how you feel, like that's ideal for you. Or is there something missing, something lacking? And if there is, write that thing down. Do you feel healthy? Do you feel alive? Do you feel full of life? Do you feel energetic? Do you feel pumped up? Do you feel like you're motivated, you're moving? Do you feel mentally strong? So this also has to do with your health. Do you feel like you're mentally strong? Do you feel like you're mentally being challenged, mentally growing? Do you feel physically strong? Do you feel like that's something that you're working on? Where are you experiencing pain? Do you feel like you're experiencing mental stress or pain? Do you feel like you're experiencing pain in the body somewhere. All right, so take that. If there was anything there, write it down. Now, what about your wealth? Is money for you like feast or famine? And if it's like feast, write feast. If it's famine, write famine. Does it show up easy or struggle? Does it occur for you like money shows up easily or money struggle? Like write it out. Write out which it is. Do you feel like you're saving enough? Like do you have the amount of money that you feel would be adequate to perform in your bank account? Like for me, there's a certain dollar amount that I like having in my actual account. So like if an opportunity shows up, something I want to do, something I want to like buy, it's like it's there, it's ready for me to act, because most opportunities, most good investments aren't about if you have the money, it's really about timing. And so yeah, I could go liquidate stuff, but it's like I've got enough in my account as a reserve so I can act, and I can act now. Do you have too much debt? Do you have this lingering fear around your debts, or is it not manageable? I'm not saying debt's even bad, actually. I think debt can be a very powerful thing, but it's like, is it leveraged correctly? Do you understand it? Is it managed right? Do you have a spending issue? Do you find like you have a hole in your wallet? Like that's kind of the analogy, right? It's like anytime I feel like I have to give it away. There's some maybe belief there that's running. Or how does money show up for you, and how do you show up for money? Because money in and of itself, like if I were to hold a $100 bill and set it on the table, like in and of itself, that $100 bill is going to do nothing. It takes us to create the value of money. It takes humans' interaction. It takes us grabbing it and doing things with it for money to even work. And so how do you show up around money? And how does money show up for you? Like, what is your perception? What's the worldview that you're experiencing money? And this is where you get into like, it's scarce, it's abundant, it's easy to come by, it's hard, it's painful, it's evil, it's good, it's bad, whatever. Like there's so many ways we could go down that rabbit hole. Just look at the ones that show up right on the surface, because we're not going to go into the training of how to create 100 habits to change your life. We're just going to pick off 1, 2, maybe 3, like that are right there on the surface that are just low-hanging fruit. Now, what about your relationships? I mean, we got to look there, right? Your relationships have impact in all areas of your life, even your wealth. So it's like, we're not going to do this training without looking there. Like, do you have close friends? Do you have people, like real friends, guys? Not the kind that like show up when it's convenient, not the kind that show up when things get hard, but like the kind that like they're there when things go bad. Like they're the ones that show up even when things are hard, even when like there's things happening in your life that may not be convenient for them. Like, do you have people like that in your life? Are you close to the people that matter most? So if you're to say, okay, these are the people that matter, and again, this is all your story, your life, so you get to define all this. But it's like, these would be the people that I would say are close to me. It's like, okay, but are you? Like, these are the people that matter the most to me. Maybe it's my kids, or someone I'm in a relationship with, or a certain family member. It's like, yeah, those people matter to me the most. It's like, God, are you close to them? Are you getting what you want out of those relationships? Are you getting what you want? Like, that's so important to ask. Not are you giving, are you getting? Now, the giving and getting might be connected, but like you want to look at it at this moment from a selfish perspective. Am I getting what I want out of my relationships? Do relationships or certain relationships occur stressful, or something you avoid at certain levels? It's like, oh, like this is a person that matters to me, but man, when we get around this topic, nope. Or we just don't even talk about that. I have no freedom or ability to be fully expressed when this shows up in a certain conversation. I can't be myself. I can't say it the way it actually occurs for me. I have to hold back. Do you find that you have walls up in certain ways around certain types of relationships? Do you have walls that come up? This is just another way of saying it. Do you go into hiding? Do you avoid certain interactions or being around certain people? Because of this, you don't feel like you can be fully expressed. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be cautious extremely cautious with who you associate with. Extremely. Like, I'm not saying you should be looking at every interaction like it's a download for you. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, do you avoid certain people or conversations because you don't feel like you can be fully expressed? Like, you want to be fully expressed, so you only hang around the people that you can be. Now, that's a totally different conversation than picking who you associate with and how you spend time with certain people so that it elevates who you are. Like, very different conversations. So how do we get this to meet the road? We talk, kind of up here around like, how do we change our life? How do we have breakthroughs? Where does it happen? But I want to have the rubber really meet the road here. I want to get on the court with you guys on like, where are we going to actually make this shift? How by the end of this meeting, am I actually going to make a difference in one of those areas or on one of those pain points so that it never shows up again? So that it's just from this day forward, it happens in life like it's who I am. It's not this thing that I have to work on. It's not this future pain point I have to worry about. It's done, it's complete. So before we dive in and get answers to how to solve correct the habit that hasn't formed, let's first do an exercise to bring to the surface the most painful or important ones to focus on. Because you have thousands. Like, we could do a full day of like how you could improve as a human being, and you would have pages and lists. So if you don't have anything on your page right now and you're going, man, stay tuned because there are thousands, and we're just going to pick off the easiest ones. So the next exercise is crucial for you to have this breakthrough. You're going to have to play. You're going to have to participate. And what I'm offering is a cure. I don't do these things and say, you might get lucky and this might work for you. I'm making a promise that if you do this exercise and you do it all the way, that what you'll have access to is a shift or a change around this habit, that it will occur for you into the future like it's not something that you have to work on before. Like, it's not something you'd have to revisit. It would just be who you are going forward. Now, what would that be like? Like, what would that be like if this thing that you do, this thing that's not showing up for you, this thing that you really want, like, you could make a shift like it would be who you are forever going forward. You wouldn't have to struggle. You wouldn't have to read any more books. You would just be that person. And what would be possible for you in your life if that thing shifted? So just keep that in mind as we start to identify some of these topics. So here's the exercise. Get something to write on. You can do this exercise in any area, but for the sake of time, I'm going to be doing it today on money and wealth. So if that so happens to be the one that you wanted to do, great. If not, don't worry about it. Just do the same exercise with your other topic and just follow along. So first, check which of these categories bring up the most pain. Is it your health? Is this the area that if you could improve or have a change or shift in, it would be the most radical, it impact all the others the most? Is this the area? Is it in your wealth? Like, if you didn't have the debt or you had the more money, that would free up the most things. Or is it something in a relationship? You just have an incessant, painful relationship with someone or something, or you have some racket going on with someone that you interact with that just gets to be resolved, and that weight is just impacting all the other areas of your life. You can't be who you want to be around money. You can't be who you want around your health because this is the heaviest piece. Or it could be around your spirituality. There's something lacking there. Your connection to a higher source or higher power is just radically missing. So just take a minute, just sit with it, and look like, what is it? And if it's not popping up yet, just follow along. We'll do some more diving on this. So I'll be using wealth, but just as I said before, I want you to ask the same questions and go through this exercise as if it were the topic that is specific for you. So look at wealth, or the topic that you wrote down. What do I know to do that I'm not? And I would even write that question out, because you're going to want to do this on other areas after you get complete around this thing that's not a habit yet. But what do I do that I know to do that I'm not? What do I know to do that I'm not? So if it's around money, it's like I know to do this thing, but I'm just not doing it. I know to like be on a diet, or I know to like not be eating so many carbs, or I know that I should be exercising, or I know that, I need to get this thing checked out, or, that would be your health or relationship. I know I need to clean this thing up with my mom. I know I need to have this conversation with this friend. We haven't talked in 3 years. I know, it's maybe something around there. Or I know, like, I need to take a day a week to really reconnect with who I am and my higher power. Or I know that I need to do that, for a little bit every day, or, whatever you know to do, but you're not. Write that thing down and just pick one of the topics. Don't go through all 4 areas. That would be way too much work for today. Look at it in your wealth, your health, relationships, spirituality, and just look at what do I know to do in that one category, and just list out all the things you know to do that you're not. Now list all the areas that aren't working around your wealth. So we're going to do it with wealth. So if there's something around your budgets that's not working, write that out. Do you not get your bills paid on time? Do you not spend money in areas that you know to spend money that are going to impact your money going into the future? Do you maybe it's your living month to month. It's like, I know living month to month is not healthy. I should have some savings. But you might list out and again, these are areas that aren't working for you. It's like, I am constantly stressed out about money, or I'm constantly stressed about money that's being spent. I've got this partner and I'm always bugging them about the money they're spending. Or I've got no money to go on vacation or to do the things that I want. Or no money to buy fill in the blank. No money to use for marketing. No money to hire people in my business. No money to invest. No money to put into opportunities. Like whatever it is, just write it out. Time to optimize, to maximize profits. It's like, I know to spend some time to look at all this, to analyze my financial situation, but I know to do that, but I just haven't. I know that because I'm feeling a lot of pain around feeling lost in my finances. I don't really even know where I'm at. I don't even know what my personal financial situation is right now. So look at this list that you've created. And I want you to have it just kind of soak in. And some of the things that I said might be on your list. Some other things might be on that list, but just keep fleshing out this list as we're going. And now we're going to take these pain points and next to the topic, whatever your topic is, I want you to write some things next to it. So if you did this on your phone, that's not going to work. That's why I asked you to get a notepad. But you're going to want to have a place to write on the right of this. Or if you did it on your phone, just create a new topic with that specific topic and write the things under it, or move stuff around so that it works. But however you're doing this, you're going to want to make some notes on the specific thing next to the topic. So whatever you wrote out already, we're just going to be taking notes on the side of it. So here's an example. I've got no money to fill in the blank. So what you're going to write is maybe something like the habit, the thing that I get to create around having no money to market, buy things, go on vacation, is I could create a savings account to hold money. I could create new ways to make money. How many of you guys have explored that? How many guys have your week planned out when it comes to how you're making money and having money show up? How many guys plan out your days? How many guys create budgets? Or how many of you guys have ever done a personal financial statement? I do one and I update one almost every 3 months. Because again, this is a really crucial thing. And we do this with our clients even. We have them do these PFSs to find ways to get what they want, but you're not even doing that. And it's how can you set a plan to where you're going? How are you going to change your future where you're going if you're not 100% clear where you are. You don't even know what you're worth. You don't even know what your net worth is. You don't even know what leverage you have. You don't even know what financial strength you personally have. Like, how much credit do I have to leverage? How much cash do I have to leverage? How much in assets do I have to leverage? You just don't even know. And so these are all things you could do and you know to do, but you haven't. So I'm going to give you guys, let's see, 53.7. We've got a couple minutes here. I'm going to give you some time to just like look at this. Look at the list. Look at the thing to put next to it. I'm going to bring up the comments and see if you guys have any questions to make sure you're caught up at this point. So if you're lost and you're like, I am not getting this, I'm not understanding what's happening here, please jump into the chat and say, Matt, I'm not getting this. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be writing out right now. I'm not sure like what I'm looking to put on paper. So as you guys are filling that out and the rest of you guys are looking at your list and fleshing this out, again, what we're looking at is you've got your main topics, the things you know to do, the things that that are activity based, or things that you are like the category of what gets to shift, the pain point in that category that needs to shift. And next to it, what we're writing out is like possible things you could do that you're not, that would have an impact in that area. So like the no money to fill in the blank, it's like, oh, I could create a savings account. I could have an empty, like I have a jar that I put stuff in. I could create new ways to make money. I could have a meeting with someone around how to be more efficient at making money. I'm already in a business that's making money, but it's not making as much as someone else. So I'd want to like get how they're doing it. How often am I meeting with people, having lunches with people that are financially in a place better than me? Like, am I getting those downloads? Am I getting that influence? Or like, am I doing a good job planning things out, finding time to fit stuff like this in, planning out my days, creating budgets, looking at my personal financial situation with a PFS, applying for a loan, remortgaging the house, whatever it is. Okay, it looks like we're all in the court here, so I'm not getting any comments. So I'm going to keep moving. So we're going to jump right into this. So how do we deal with this? How do we deal with making this permanent? How do we deal with like having this thing that I keep trying to do show up, actually show up? How do I form this habit like it just becomes who I am forever? And there are 3 P's to forming a habit, like have it be real and have it to last forever. And the first is prompting, which is a cue or a trigger that starts the habit, such as a reminder or a symbol. The second P is a pattern. This is the structures you put in place to execute on the reminder symbol. And then 3 is the prize, the carrot you use to keep the pattern so that it becomes a new habit. So it becomes you. So you don't have to keep doing this thing. You don't have to keep reminding yourself. You don't have to keep stressing about it. It just is permanently you. So prompting. So promptings, and I want you to have your list as we're going through this. I want you to be kind of going back and forth. Promptings are huge with habits. They act as structures to do what you said you would do. They are limitless ways that you can create, there are limitless ways that you can create promptings. Now a prompting, some of the basic ones are like a phone reminder. Like you say, hey, Siri, set a reminder, or hey, Alexa, or whatever the thing is. Like you say the thing that creates a trigger, a prompting to remind you of the thing that you said you were going to do. Calendars are great with this, and calendars have reminders, and calendars have even like multiple types of reminders. Emails, you can send it to your phone. I mean, they're really great now. Alarms are great, just something to set an alarm. Visuals, I've got a vision board in my office that I've just updated. Or like maybe it's a great visual that I had is like I don't have to do this. It's not a pain point, but I wanted to get a Lamborghini at some point in my life. So what did I do? I bought a poster. It was in my office, and it was just a constant symbol of like, this is the thing that I'm going to do. Or achievement in objects. This can be like a reminder or symbol or something you buy that's like, this is going to symbolize my achievement of this. Like this is going to symbolize me doing this. And I've heard some really great examples. People will buy rocks. They'll go out into the wilderness and find rocks, and each rock symbolizes something, and then they put it at the door that they exit every day. And so it reminds them of their thing that they committed to every single day. Or accountability partners, coaches. These are all great ways to have promptings really land. But this habit that you put out, this thing that you're wanting to change, you can just count on it not happening if you don't create some type of prompting in the beginning. Otherwise, it's just going to go back to the thing you were always doing, that broken record of you wanting it to happen, and it just never does. So make sure that you identify next to the thing you want to change. Just pick one, just one, and put next to it, what's the prompting you're going to put in place? Are you going to put a phone reminder, an alarm? Maybe it's a visual you need, some rocks by the door, whatever. But identify the prompting you're going to use. Okay, next, now we're going to get really clear on the pattern. How am I going to formulate and make concrete the pattern of this thing continuing to show up? So pattern is where you create the unconscious thinking that is going to form the habit. It's the thing that we're going to create that then becomes the natural reaction. So when this thing shows up or this thing happens, boom, you just naturally react the way that you want. You naturally react the way that you're trying to form around this new habit. It is what eventually replaces all promptings. So your prompting will eventually go away. This is why you got to update vision boards. This is why you have to make new visuals. This is why you set new alarms, is because the thing you're setting up will become the normal. You will know you've mastered this new habit, so you'll know you're done with promptings when your pattern around the habit becomes a subconscious reaction. It's like it just happens subconsciously. You don't even have to think about it. You don't have to review it. You don't have to remind yourself. It just happens. If you miss it or forget it, then it's not fully integrated in your mind. So you can know, and you can also know that you may need to go back. You may need to go back to what prompting to use if it's not starting to land, if it's not starting to become that natural subconscious reaction. So if this doesn't start to integrate, if this doesn't start to become just how you normally react, then you get to go back to the promptings and you get to do something different here, because obviously the one you're working isn't powerful enough. It's not working. So if you forget, you're not fully integrated. So you're going to want to go back. But once it is integrated, once you're noticing, oh my gosh, I'm doing this thing without even a prompting, that's when you can move on. That's when you can pick the next thing on your list. So you'll want to go back to promptings if you're not unconsciously triggering this new habit. And then last but not least is prize. And this is so valuable. I was talking with someone earlier this week about the value of prizes. And so prizes can actually be very simple. Many new habits have natural prizes, right? But some of them are long-term, so it's hard to do that. So some, however, don't have the prize, meaning it's not instant. Eventually we'll get it, we'll get the reward, we'll get the payoff, but it's not right there. So in these cases, you want to create a carrot or a prize for your brain to want to do the thing. And it can be a very simple reward, like a snack, or your juice, or your coffee, or your, and that's where that whole idea of coffees for closers came from. It's the idea of closing is a difficult thing to do, so you don't get your coffee till you have closes, right? Or you don't get to have coffee at all till you have closes. That's the idea of that saying. Or it's like some form of entertainment, dinner, maybe you get dessert with your dinner if you accomplish the thing. Just set it up in your brain, and you will see how rewarding that little cupcake that you had is. You'll see how much satisfaction you get out of that coffee, or how much satisfaction you get out of that little thing you gave yourself for achieving that goal. Gifts, ice creams, TV, books, being able to watch a show. Take the things you naturally do that are taking and pulling you away from what you want. It might be forms of entertainment, and make that the reward. And guys, you will love your entertainment. You will love the things you like to do anyways, that much more when you make it the carrot around the thing that you should be doing. Sometimes the thing you use to avoid the new habit becomes the prize, right? You want to look at that. It's oftentimes the thing you're using to avoid creating the habit actually is the natural prize you put in place. Like, oh, well, I would call those people, or I would do this thing in my business, but I've got the show to watch. And it's like, okay, got it. Like, maybe you have the show be the prize and you put the thing in front of it, and watch how much more you enjoy it. Watch how much more fulfilling that thing is that you're already doing becomes. Now, we're going to talk really quickly, and I'm going to wrap things up around your inner position, because I found we can do everything on your list. And I know that this list that you have, it's big. Like, it is big. Mine is also. And I'm not saying throw it away. I'm not saying don't do the things we just talked about, but I want to have a real conversation around a life hack that's going to get you there much quicker. It's going to get you all the things you want much faster, and that's around your inner position. The most powerful habit you can create around anything, all 4 categories of your life, is going to be your inner position. And your inner position is the personal, internal position one takes on, like you take it on, around a task or situation. I was actually with one of my author coaches yesterday, and we really identified that your inner position goes through 2 channels. It goes through the channel of being 100% responsible or being a victim. And then all the other whatever you would call your inner position, really come off of one of those 2 veins. So like if my inner position is one of being confident, that's coming off of being 100% responsible. If my inner position is being shy, that's probably coming from the other side, right? It's coming from the inner position of being a victim. And so you can kind of see how, like, whatever your inner position is, it really veins off of one of 2, either being 100% responsible or not, being 100% responsible or being a victim. And so if you can create new habits around how you show up inside of something, how you show up, for example, inside maybe this training, or how you show up with the people that you're interacting with in life, or how you show up around money, like all those things, this will be the most impactful habit that you can create. You'll be creating an unconscious interrupter or awareness that the way you are being is not powerful or is not productive. You'll know how to turn that like a light switch. Then in the moment you pull out this new habit you're trying to form, you do blank to change that inner position. Like, there you are in this uncomfortable conversation or something that's radically going to impact your money. It's going to radically impact your wealth. And normally you get reserved, you get fearful, you get afraid. But instead of that, you know to flip it to this thing of maybe being confident or being strong or being bold or whatever the thing is that's going to be powerful. That will have more impact in changing your future than any of the things you've already listed, period. Because this changes all things. This is the radical multiplier. This is the life hack that gets you exponential growth in all 4 areas. So what would you do? Like, what are some things that you can do to like get access to changing your inner position? One is meditation. One's actually to like have time and spend time in a place of zero, a place that you can create from, a place that you can create from nothing. Incantations, these are affirmations you say to yourself. Exercise, this is the state like that matches the body. Like when you're running, you move into like a peak state. When you're like out exercising, you move into an inner position that's really strong and powerful. Prayer is another form of meditation. This is where, and it depends, like some of your guys' prayers I've heard, and they're not effective this way. But the type of prayer where you're visualizing your future, you're visualizing the thing that you want, and like you're bringing it to the surface. You're making requests. You're like seeing yourself as all powerful, and you're making powerful requests around the things that you want. Music plays a huge part in this. The type of music you listen to, is it one that lifts you? Is it one that brings you up? Or is it one that keeps you where you are? Or is it even one that maybe brings you down? And then physical poses, how you hold your body, your posture. You can actually change that. I watch people all the time in my office, and it's so interesting that how blind people are to their physical posture, like their poses. Like it's almost like they're saying something to you and they don't even realize it, right? Like they've got their arms crossed. You're like, okay, got it. Like you are closed off right now. You're feeling attacked. You're feeling withdrawn. And they're not even saying that, but you can see it. But they can actually change all of that just by changing their posture. Their inner position will match. It will literally match the posture that you're holding. That's why these Superman poses where you literally bring your arms back and you like hold your chest out, that's why they're so powerful. And there are practices that people teach that you like do this in front of mirrors and like you do this for like a minute a day. These are all things that help shift your inner position. And then there are verbal ways, like saying out loud the word yes, like yes, 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 or doing your incantation or your statement that matches the inner position, the state that's desired for yourself. So now you want to like really look like what habits would you create? Like what would you do next? What's the thing that you're going to bring on? Knowing that your inner position and changing that habit will have the biggest lift. I'm not saying don't do the other ones, but I'm saying knowing that your inner position and creating habits around this, like what are you going to create? The possibilities really are endless, and you can do more than just one at a time when you're doing these inner positions. I have found taking one at a time is effective. That way, it's like you make sure it gets integrated. You make sure that you know the variable and like that it actually made the change. It's better to have one habit eternalized than to integrate 100 and have them not ever really land, right? And it doesn't give you the results. So one new habit today, guys, one that you could pick off of this could change your life forever. Like it could literally be the fork that radically shifts your life in a completely new direction. And so working on a habit to change your inner position will impact more areas at once. And that's the habit I would have you look at. That's the thing that I would have you leave today going, I'm going to create a habit around having a more positive, a more impactful inner position. And later is never, guys. Don't do this like I'm going to do it tomorrow. Don't say like, Matt, that was a great training. And this weekend, I'm going to work on the habit of, meditating more, or really having intentional prayers, or really making sure that I pray every morning before the day, or that I get up and I have a clearing, or I sit in nothing, or I have time for myself, or whatever the thing is. I listen to this type of music, I watch this type of entertainment. All of those things are going to impact this, but find the one thing that very clearly would have the most impact and decide to do that today, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is never. And what I can promise you is the lift is going to be enormous, guys. Like every time I've done this, it's like somehow my entire life goes up like 10 cubics. It's just like, how does this keep happening for me? And it never ends. Like you'll get done with this, and if you loved it, come back to this training and do it again, because this is it's a work. And what we're capable of, what's possible for us as humans is endless. I mean, it just really is endless. And so like what would be possible for you in your life is unknown, really. Like really. The things you're even imagining for yourself are absolutely obtainable. And what I'm saying is possible is even beyond the things you can imagine.